Georgia around a 2-touchdown favorite in this game against Florida. I'm actually going over the number here. That's the way that I think is the best to play the cocktail party. I'm going to give you all the big game action, by the way. I'm going to take Michigan State. I know you hate the Spartans, plus the points. I am going to take, I think I'm going to take Penn State plus 18.5, although I'm not very confident in that scenario. I'm taking Ole Miss plus the points. I'm taking Mississippi State and the under. I actually think Mississippi State beats Kentucky outright. I'm taking the over in Iowa, Wisconsin, just because this number is so low. I can't go under it. And I'm taking Coastal Carolina against Troy. Those are all my college football gambling picks. But let's start with the big games before you react to any of those. And I think the biggest game of the weekend is Michigan at Michigan State, two undefeated teams. I'm not sure that anyone saw the Battle of Michigan on the day before Halloween being a matchup of unbeatens. What happens and why?
No, I would agree with you. Coming into the year, you were wondering how Michigan was going to respond in the wake of what was a disappointing performance all of last year. And clearly the Wolverines have their swagger back. I mean, they've established a ground game between Hassan Haskins and Blake Corum. Cade McNamara going out there and doing what Coach Harbaugh is asking of him, specifically not turning the football over. Although you have seen Michigan throw it a little bit more in their last 3 games than what we saw the first 4 games of the season. But again, very workmanlike, only doing the bare necessities. I think he was 20 of 27 for a shade under 130 yards in their win against Northwestern. In comes Michigan State team that I think offers more playmakers. Kenneth Walker has been phenomenal, the Wake Forest transfer, and he's doing a lot of his damage after contact, which makes it that much more impressive. Peyton Thorne, a trio of talented wide receivers, and I don't think I'm going out on a limb saying that Michigan State's offense is much more dynamic and explosive. Now, when you look at Michigan, I think they'll be better on the defensive side, and these two teams could feel each other out early. I'm inclined to go under the total here. I know Michigan's defense hasn't been as great as some of the higher-level numbers look like when you look at a down-and-down efficiency standpoint. Meanwhile, Michigan State, I think, can get pushed around a bit in the trenches. I just don't see a lot of big plays. And for me, it feels like the first team to 24 could come out of this game with a win. Understand completely where you're coming from as far as making a case for the underdog. And definitely pretty wild to think about this being the first top 10 matchup between these in-state rivals since, I think, 1964. So we'll see which one of these teams can remain unblemished going forward. Because as we know, the Big Ten East still slated to be very much a round robin, albeit with Penn State taking a step back. But Ohio State in the mix, Michigan State, setting up some interesting showdowns and matchups as we get deeper into November.